Hi everybody, here with His Holiness Varshana Swami, and there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in the spiritual world right now. Is there any topics that you feel are relevant that we could discuss here in this, interview?
Topics of interest are those that could help us get back to a relationship with the earth.
I've always said this and shared this with so many people that we're supposed to get back to the earth, get back with each other, that's community, and get back to God, which is your holy name of choice, or Hare Krishna if you don't have one, as Prabhupada would say. But
where do you have the credentials to tell us how to save the world?
I've actually been trying to start communities. I've started about a half a dozen communities over the last 40 years. We started out, what was it? We started out about 40 years ago in Copenhagen, and we took over a military ammunitions factory that was abandoned since World War II. And there was after a while there's about 1,500 hippies, and it's still there. It's called Christiania.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I have a friend in Christiania right now.
Really? Well, I was there when we took it over. Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't just me. There was a bunch of hippies. Yeah.
Well, the world situation today really cripples and sabotages developing relationship with Earth and returning to the agricultural ways of yore. Everything is just so heavily fortified to continue the current exploitative trends of governments, multinational corporations, and the multinational bankers behind them. That my only interest in world events is what might be developing that will weaken that dominance of the greed system, the exploitative nature of world trends that could help get back to a saner, more organic lifestyle in relationship with the earth.
there's a moment of truth coming up, and you can see it, and there's going to be a chance if the light workers are really serious. So what that means for light workers is we imitate and we struggle to keep a high standard, which of course meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling, avoiding the 4 pillars of sin. But there's a certain grasping of everyone's heart, like they did in the 60s and 70s with Prabhupada. So tens of thousands of hippies gave up those 4 things. And it's because, like George Harrison said, instead of turning the searchlights outward, to turn them inward. There's a certain spontaneous love of God thing that happens when that happens all over again.
So what after that was the next option?
The next option is Tallahassee.
Oh yeah?
We had one in Tallahassee. The Mukasuki Land Co-op was, we decided we wanted bigger pieces of land and families, but we still were into this whole idea of, you have your family and you got your chunk of land and you got your fruit orchard and you got your...
That's separate entities, but you put together.
Exactly, separate. And it was like Mukasuki Land Co-op, except for we had like 5, 10, 25 acre tracts.
And then it's a sort of a balance of isolated pods, but the community as a whole.
So when you talk about agriculture, it's not just an agrarian lifestyle, it is a culture of loving relationships based on the harmony of nature and the intent of the Lord. And being a culture, it's more than a complex set of skills and abilities. It is an environment that is conducive to the handing down and conveying of truth and relationships. So skills can be, quickly learned and recreated, but a whole culture, once it's become extinct, is very difficult to revive. And that's why I encourage people to get whatever understanding and experience of the old agricultural ways before they just become extinct, And we lose sight in memory of what merits they had to offer in terms of understanding the culture of the spiritual world, which is reflected in nature, but eclipsed by technology and industry.
I think there's going to be a moment in truth that's going to help save the earth. And this pouring of homage unto the Great Spirit is what waters the root of creation, which makes the, you taught me all of this stuff, so I'm not instructing you, Swamiji. I'm just saying that this is, I've thought about it and taught it and repeated the message, and so I'm kind of realizing it, that watering the root of the tree is what helps the whole, every leaf and twig flourish.
I think that we definitely need to start small.
Yeah.
But
So like think globally, act locally.
John Adams, one of his famous quotes is, there are two ways to enslave a people. One is by sword, and the other is by debt, or the monetary system. The monetary system is nothing but debt. That is what the monetary system is. The whole existence of the monetary system is debt. Each dollar represents a debt. The monetary system has to be removed. We have to get away from the monetary system.
I agree.
At least the system that we have, where there is absolutely nothing backing it.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got a metal coin that is of gold and it is of value to somebody, then you have something and you can trade that because it's a piece of gold that somebody might want,
which
and they can
should
melt
just
down.
go down to the fact that trading is the best way.
Exactly, and that's
So it would almost be, it would be a constructive, almost like regression almost. We would step back to some older ways of being and live more tribally, in a sense.
yeah, in
And
a
trade
sense.
valuable commodities instead of
In a sense,
paper money.
but I think that the technology of today is so incredibly amazing. There is so much amazing technology,
Yeah.
and to throw all that out would be foolish.
There is an energy that surpasses the combined influences of all the visible component members. That synergy of the Lord's design and creation is the antithesis of the syndrome, which is the consequence of man's own created system, divorced from alignment with the Lord's original plan.
And they say, oh, this is the process? Oh, I got to give up one thing at a time until I'm clean? People are really happy to get off intoxicants. They're happy to only have sex if they're in love with somebody and their heart is 110% open with God in that relationship. People are really happy when...
We now know the world is this big, and it's finite. There's this much stuff here.
Right.
We need to share it, otherwise we're screwed,
Yeah, people somehow believe that if I hoard enough crap or get enough toys or whatever you want to call it, that somehow I am going to be more happy. But it's actually, if you look at it, it's pretty much the inverse of that. The more crap you've got, the less you have time for love and for life, because you're dealing with all your crap.
So you would suggest that other people do the same, get one foot out into nature and try to tap into and understand the harmony which is out there.
Yes, and that's why, my only interest in world events is there anything that's going to help people realize that the current trends are not sustainable or healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the collective population of the world today is so indoctrinated to believe that, this current system it has merit. But it's an unsustainable, unhealthy, toxic system of exploitation and disintegration, but is promoted as being something advanced, whereas it's actually regressive. And the more people can, step aside and objectively look at what that's doing to the quality of life and relationships.
So going into nature and recalibrating yourself so you can recalibrate your vision and go back and see it for what it is.
Yes.
The city's false, and it is said that man created the city, God created nature, the country. Namaste.